Well, we are in an incredibly distracting and distressing time. And today I posted a beautiful illustration by an artist named Charlie Mackesy, I think is his last name. And he does beautiful illustrations with beautiful sentiments. And this one said, sometimes all we feel is fear, but there is more strength and love inside us than you can possibly imagine. And with that post, I have received a lot of love. I also shared that yesterday was one of my hardest days during this quarantine, and it was a combination of work-related things, family-related things, and things that I know are beyond my control, but when you get into the middle of an anxiety spin, it was just a hard day. So depression and anxiety came back at me in a big way, but strength also came back to me in a big way. And one of the things that resulted into that post this morning was that another friend sent me a great article, and I wanted to read you an excerpt from it. I posted this on my Facebook business page, but I was just in the mood to share it with you this way too. It's from the Harvard Business Review, an article called "That Discomfort You're Feeling is Grief." And they interview one of the leading grief experts, David Kessler. And his work is just amazing in the hospice community. I know that to be true from my best friend who runs a hospice. Yes, it's David Kessler. So I'll read just a second really of the article, and then encourage you to look it up, and I'll put it in the link with this video. But it says, what kind of grief are we experiencing? And it deals with a lot of different things, but the writer asks, what can individuals do to manage all of this grief? And Kessler says, understanding the stages of grief is a start. But whenever I talk about the stages of grief, I have to remind people that the stages aren't linear and may not happen in this order. It is not a map, but provides some scaffolding for this unknown world. The first stage, he says, is there's denial, which we say a lot of early on. And in our current context, he says, this virus won't affect us. There's anger. You're making me stay at home and taking away my activities. There's bargaining. Okay, if I social distance for 2 weeks, everything will be right. Everything will be better, right? There's sadness. I don't know when all this will end. And finally, there's acceptance. This is happening. I have to figure out how to proceed. And he says that acceptance, as you might imagine, is where the power lies. We find control in acceptance. I can wash my hands, I can keep a safe distance, and I can learn how to work virtually. So I wanted to just share that with you today because it's been very present for me. Fear has been very present for me. My family has now been affected with a relative close by that is infected and currently not hospitalized, so we're grateful for that. And I just am working on all the different ways that I can stay connected. My Working Gratitude podcast will go on pause again for a moment. I have one interview recorded that I'm likely to go ahead and post because it's got some entertainment value to it, and I hope that will encourage you. My conversation is definitely going to be shifting to what I'm needing to draw from for myself, and that is some self-compassion and kindness with myself, and how we can show up in the world working those things in addition to working gratitude. I know in this time of unrest, I have found myself being what I've called Judgy McJudge, and that has included judging people for whatever behaviors they are or are not exhibiting. And I wanted to keep that in check. So I really don't have answers to a lot of the questions that I'm faced with, and I don't anticipate providing answers, but hopefully anything that I post can provide an outlet for discussion. So I look forward to talking with you and being with you online and sharing comments, and I will look forward to working through this together as a new friendship that's evolving with an author that I really respect a whole lot, Mike Robbins. He's got a book coming out called We're All in This Together, and he is sharing very generously content on his podcast and on LinkedIn and on Facebook, ways that he wrote that for the business community, but he's sharing ways that we are all in this together, and we can figure out, even in small ways, what we can do to help one another. So go be kind, be compassionate, and wherever you can find it, try to be grateful. Thanks for watching.